The following feature presentation is part of the AllForSciFi podcast network.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
I'll be back.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's a trap!
The needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few.
for the one.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Live long and prosper.
Get away from her, you bitch! Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Take it away.
Goodbye.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that!
I see dead people.
I'm Groot.
So what?
I'm Groot.
You said that.
Why so serious?
I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute.
What I do is not up to you.
Chewie. We're home.
I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
I first saw the previews of Dark Phoenix. I said, oh no, not another XMen movie.
That's definitely true.
I go, please, they've done enough X-Men movies. Let's do something else, something different. And I was surprised. I was shocked.
Yeah, I was too. It was actually better than what I thought it would be.
I was, yeah, I mean, it really, we're going to talk a lot about this,
Yeah,
Dark Phoenix,
the trailer does not make any, I mean, don't watch the trailer, just go watch the movie itself.
Yeah,
It gives no justice.
The trailers in this case, a lot of times when you see trailers, you go, well, when you see a trailer, it's hope it doesn't give away all the movie. It probably has the best parts in the trailer, right?
Yes, usually.
This case, no. The trailer, you're right, Captain Rickster, did not do it justice.
It's definitely true.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and give our full review on Dark Phoenix, but, let's go ahead and talk about what happened this week in sci-fi news. Yes. So, obviously, more's in development, and more came out about Gremlins 3.
Yes.
I'm excited because it has Chris Columbus back on board doing the script, and he's kind of promising on Gremlins 3 more of a darker and a grittier type of movie. And Gremlins already had some darkness in it, but I think it'd be cool for it to be even darker.
We'll see what happens. It should be pretty good.
And we also got our first trailer and first look at the new Brad Pitt sci-fi movie, Ad Astra.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and apparently Tommy Lee Jones plays Brad Pitt's father, who has been missing and's gone rogue or something like that.
Yeah.
And now Brad needs to find his dad to find out what he's doing before he destroys the entire universe.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
That wouldn't be too good.
No, it would not, because we wouldn't be here talking to you guys anymore.
That's the truth. Actually, finally and officially, this week we also got word about Ghostbusters 3. The sequel.
The sequel to 2.
Yes, and now this week they've now announced officially that Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver have now joined the cast.
Oh, good.
So now we got all the original Ghostbusters folks back, except for the one, Harold Ramis. He died, so unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
So he can't come back unless he's a spirit or something in the movie.
Who knows?
But it's great. Ghostbusters 3 with the original cast, and it's being directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who did the originals.
Yep.
So I have, I've seen some of the work that Jason Reitman has done, and he's done some pretty good movies so far. So I have high hopes for Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, so do I.
Speaking of, since today we're talking about X-Men Dark Phoenix, the animated show, the X-Men animated series, I hear it's trying to make a comeback.
Yes, it is. Right
Yeah.
here also.
Yeah, have approached Disney, and they're asking them. They're going to give them a whole pitch, and let's all wish them luck on getting X-Men the animated show back. If any of our listeners out there would like to maybe do some sort of write-in or some sort of petition to Disney to tell them bring back X-Men the animated series, and the series creator Larry Houston says he wants to start where the show left off.
Yeah, it's right here too.
So look for that, X-Men the animated series. It's been kind of a slow week for sci-fi news this week, but we're also here today to talk about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge again.
Oh yes.
So I don't know how many of our Facebook friends out there have actually been to Disneyland. It's only opened in Disneyland so far, but I hear that it's magical. I hear you feel like you're part of the Star Wars universe.
And it takes a long time to get on the spaceship. That one that Han Solo flew. So
You're talking about Smuggler's Run?
Smuggler's Run, yeah. I hear it's a long line. I hear you have to be patient in that because it's a few hours to get back on that.
I heard the opposite. I heard that the lines were only like 30 minutes, and then you would get on in 20 minutes.
Well, that's pretty good. Before, when the day of opening, though, is when it really had long lines and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that personally opening day, which was only like a little over a week ago that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened. And coming up later on our show, we have our good friends Richard and Sarah Woloski from Skywalking Through Neverland. As promised, they are coming on board, and they're going to give us a special report later in the show. So we got that coming up later, but let's go ahead and talk about Dark Phoenix. I know Captain Rickster wanted to talk today about the origin, which part of the X-Men series is it? Because apparently there's a bunch of different versions of it.
Yeah, there's a few different versions, but the original version came out in the original X-Men.
Right.
Actually, it was two parts. It was the Phoenix Saga and also the Dark Phoenix Saga. But what they played was the dark side.
Okay.
Which is actually 128 through 139 of the X-Men.
Of the comics?
Of the comic series. So it's a collectible item. They're up there in price and depending on what condition you want of them. But it actually is a real good story to actually read.
Right.
They followed it pretty much book by book through for the 10 issues that were out.
Right.
And it was really interesting to watch. And that, like I said, the movie surprised me a lot because I didn't think it would be as good as it, because the trailers made it look so bad.
Yeah, no, the movie really is a good movie. It starts off in you see Jean Grey as a child.
Yeah, which is really good too.
Yeah, and how she's there in a car with her parents. It's like 1975ish. She wants her mother keeps playing the same radio station, and just like a kid, we don't like the same music our parents like.
That's definitely true.
So she keeps changing the station, and somehow when she was switching it back and forth, she can't control her powers yet because she's just a kid.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, she causes this big horrific accident that kills her parents.
Well, actually killed the mother, which it came out later on. We thought that dad was dead too, but actually the dad wasn't until later on in the movie. They explained what happened. Yeah, later we find out that the dad didn't die. That's true. But at this point in the movie, she thinks both of her parents are dead, and Xavier, the person who's in the wheelchair, and the person that starts the school for gifted children, comes in, takes her in, and brings her into the school and says, "We will be your family now. We will take care of you." So, and then she decides to go with them, and she says she likes him more than the other doctors who she'd been dealing with, apparently. So that's definitely true, because you're not like all the rest of the doctors.
Right.
You're kind of special.
Right. So she goes ahead with him back to the school, and then it kind of flashes forward, and we're in, near, I don't know if it was around today's time or the 90s. I think it was probably in the 90s, right? Because he was about 20 years later.
The 90s, yes.
Okay, so something's happening with the space shuttle, and they think it got damaged by a solar flare. So now the XMen have to save the day and go into outer space, and they're not supposed to go into outer space with this ship they have.
The jet they have, yeah. It's mainly for on the Earth, not in the atmosphere, or up and past the atmosphere into the galaxy like it's supposed to be.
Right.
It wasn't built that way.
Right. And apparently when they went to go save the day, Jean Grey gets separated, and this solar flare, which turned out later not to be a solar flare, ended up, by the way, when you watch this, we're discussing the movie, so there's going to be a lot of spoilers, but that we're giving a review of the movie, so that we can't help it.
Yeah, really, that's true. Sorry.
So basically, in the movie, she gets trapped over in the space shuttle, and it's not really a solar flare. It's really some sort of entity or power that gets sucked into her and changes her.
Yeah.
It makes her way more powerful.
And the only reason why they did that is because she's stronger than any other human that was around.
Yes. And then we find out that it's really aliens that was following this power source.
Right.
That they wanted it for themselves, and they want to take over the Earth, basically,
yeah.
and recolonize it.
It didn't happen.
But I just gotta say, everybody needs to go out and see Dark Phoenix.
Which is really nice, though, is also they bring all back the original characters, too. All the actors who were there and actresses who played the parts that they played in the previous movies all came back.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence was great in this movie.
Yes, she was.
And what surprised me was what happened to Raven. I did not know that was going to happen.
No, neither did I. I didn't think she was going to...
Was that in the comic books, what happened to Raven?
Not really. It might be in the actual Dark Phoenix saga, the regular comic book, which I don't have any info on right at the moment.
Right.
I know there's like 2 or 3 different varieties of the Dark Phoenix that's out there, put it by Marvel. So I don't know which series that would be in.
Right.
Because for the original part that I know of it, she never did die. In the original X-Men thing.
She didn't die. So this was so what happens basically is Raven is trying to talk Jean Grey into letting the X-Men help her, to bring her back home. And she accidentally, her powers she gets mad or something, and she ends up killing Raven.
By accident.
By accident.
But it wasn't on purpose. It was accidental death. It wasn't. She didn't plan it. The problem is that she gets angry and she can't control it.
Right.
And so it did what it did. She did what happened. I mean, she couldn't help it.
Right. So it wasn't her fault. She didn't do it on purpose. And, it was very sad what happened. It was shocking, actually. It kind of threw the movie into a different type of... this movie is just a great movie. The action, the acting, the CGI work, everything. Every step of this movie, even the editing, the music by Hans Zimmer. Of course, I'm going to bring up music because I'm a composer, but every part of this movie was just outstanding. And... So let's go ahead and take a listen to Dark Phoenix, the trailer, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about Dark Phoenix, and then we're going to have our special report about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge from Sarah and Richard from Skywalking Through Neverland, and then we're going to talk more about the Ewok shirts. See, Captain Rickster behind us is wearing one of the Ewok shirts. That's the gray one. But let's go ahead and listen to Dark Phoenix.
Ladies and gentlemen of NASA, this is Charles Xavier. Help is on the way.
We're doing space missions now. Cool.
We get the astronauts, we bring them home. Go.
Heat signature's rising fast.
We gotta get out of here.
Where's Jean?
Where is she? Jean!
She should be dead.
Did you hear what the kids are calling you? Phoenix.
Hello, Jean. Who are you? The better question is, who are you? Something's happening to me. When I lose control, bad things happen. But it feels good.
That power destroyed everything it ever came into contact with. Until you. The XMen fear you. And what they fear,
we seek to destroy.
She'll kill us all.
The girl dies.
She's still our friend.
She's not Jean anymore.
Are you threatening me?
That's right.
That would be a bad idea.
Yes, that is Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yes.
Welcome to Universal Delight, a place where all your dreams and fantasies come true.
The new X-Men movie. We're here to talk about Dark Phoenix today on today's show for AllForSciFi. And as we've been talking on the show, Rick is wearing it, but here you go, guys. Dun, 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 dun.
It's actually a really nice shirt. You should try to order it if you can. It goes to a good worthy cause also.
Yeah,
all the proceeds.
The money's going to charity, the Starlight Children's Foundation. So make sure you order the shirts. Half of these shirts are already gone, guys.
Yeah, they are.
So there's only half of them left, and it's going to be a limited run. I was thinking about doing another run, maybe for kids, and have some kid sizes. But we're back from watching Dark Phoenix, the trailer, and I want to come back to Facebook Live, and I want to give a shout out to, I see Jeff from Order 66 every night, where they sell different Star Wars toys, and I got a bunch of Star Wars toys. Look.
Yes, he did.
There's Amidala, and there's Rick's holding another clone trooper. So I always wanted to be a stormtrooper. So I got a bunch of stormtrooper stuff from them at Order 66 toys. But Order 66 toys, you guys need to go there. They have the best Star Wars toys.
They have a lot of the old Star Wars stuff too. If you're a collector or anything like that, they'll have a lot of good stuff.
We're talking about X-Men Dark Phoenix, and we're talking about, when we had left, we were talking about Jean Grey and how she accidentally, spoiler here, she accidentally killed Raven.
Yeah, accidentally, which is really sad.
Yeah.
I did like her because she was actually the part she played.
Right.
The actress was really good.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
And a hottie, too.
Oh, definitely a hottie. And just think, though, all that stuff put on her, she was totally nude underneath all that stuff. So.
Well, come on.
That's
okay.
just a spoiler alert.
In case there's some kids watching here,
yeah,
let's keep this PG, Rick.
It's PG, but that's why I said nude, not naked.
Okay. So anyway, she accidentally kills Raven, and then she takes off and goes to Magneto.
Yeah.
And didn't tell him she killed Raven.
No.
Otherwise, he would have been pretty mad.
Not mad. He'd be pretty well pissed.
Yeah. So then he throws her away. And this poor girl, she was orphaned as a kid, and then she finally had a family, and then she went to another family member, Magneto, and everybody seemed to throw her away.
Yeah,
so.
No, unfortunately that's bad.
But the acting was very strong in this film. The effects were very good. The music was good. So she ends up, these aliens that want the source of her power and have come to Earth to recolonize it and get their species back, decide to prey on this poor girl, and they want her powers, or they want her to control everything. So it ends up in a big showdown at the end, and the professor and her are having this battle, and he shows Jean Grey his real heart and how he's taken care of her and raised her, and so she finally sees all that and lets go.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But you got to remember, though, Cyclops, who is her original lover,
yes,
in the movie, actually dies Not in this movie, but he actually did die in the comic book series.
Oh, he did?
Yes, unfortunately he did.
I didn't know that.
There's also a second Cyclops, too, that came out later on in the comic book series. But they were originally the lovers of each other, and she accidentally... That's the only one I know of who was actually killed in that whole complete Dark Saga.
Right.
Dark Phoenix Saga. That's why I don't believe why they put in...
Raven?
Raven, yeah.
Yeah,
for that part.
That's why I was asking you, because you know more about the comics. As mentioned on this and many shows, starting in July, Rick is going to have his own show on AllForSciFi.
Oh, you got that right.
He's got Comic Mania coming, and they're going to talk all about comic books, what's coming out, review old comic books. That's Captain Rickster's show, and he's the comic book guru. And his show, look for it next month. It starts. It's called Comic Mania.
If you got any questions about comic books, please send me your questions so that way I can answer them for you.
Yes. Yeah, Steven said he ordered the gray one. Okay, so that shirt
Steven.
that Rick has on is what your shirt looks like. And I really like how they came out. They're a really soft material. They're pre-shrunk. I know Virginia sent me an email and asked if the shirts were pre-shrunk and asked how big they were, and they seem to be running a little bit larger.
Yeah, they do.
They do seem to be a little bit larger than normal. On our on AllForSciFi, we have a rating scale of 0 through 5, 5 being the highest stars. I'm gonna give Dark Phoenix 4.5 stars.
Yeah, I would too.
It is. I'm not gonna say it's perfect. It isn't, but it's pretty close. It's one of. In fact, I was telling Captain Rickster that I think Dark Phoenix, other than the very first XMen movie, I think Dark Phoenix is my favorite XMen movie.
Yeah,
the second one.
It's better than all the rest of them they put out, except maybe the very first one they first brought it out with.
Right, the very first one. We first were getting into these characters. We got to meet, Patrick Stewart played the professor in the first one. So there were a lot of great elements about seeing it for the first time.
Right.
And if it wasn't for that, this would be my favorite. I mean, it just really is a good movie. And I hope it does well because a lot of people there's been mixed reviews. I don't really understand why there's so many mixed reviews because Dark Phoenix to me was just almost perfect. It was a really good movie.
Anybody who's in a comic book world would know about the Dark Phoenix saga of X-Men.
Right.
Original set because it's pretty much basically true to what they're talking about in the comic book series.
Right.
And only the comic book people who would know actually what's really going on. Not a lot of people would not know. Not the average person who doesn't collect comic books like we do.
Right.
So we would actually really know what we're coming up with. And they know the story.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen it and they've read it. So they already know what's going to happen. There's a few minor changes in there from the comic book series, but it's still a great movie.
Yeah. So 4.5 stars out of 5. We all know the way the rating system goes. If it's 3 and below, you don't have to go. You could wait until it comes on streaming or on Blu-ray. But when it's above 3 stars, it's definitely a movie you should see in a movie theater. And this is Dark Phoenix is a movie you need to see in a movie theater. Also for the special effects, which are great.
Right.
And the music, which I keep bringing up, but it was great.
But you need to see it on the big screen for simple fact is you can see the whole picture.
Yes.
When you get it on like Blu-ray or DVD and it's streamlined, you get just a small. Depending if you have a computer or if you have a regular TV.
Right.
It doesn't act like it's going to be that good because if you go see it in a bigger setting in a movie theater,
right,
you'll get more of the details of what's going on. Especially if you see it in IMAX.
Yeah, IMAX. We saw it in IMAX, so it was great.
Yeah.
So we're saying go out and see Dark Phoenix. It's very highly rated as far as we're concerned. The other things happening in the last week or so has been the opening at Disneyland of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Everybody's been online on YouTube and seen all the different videos out there, and of course we needed to get in the mix with that as well,
That's true, yes.
And I understand, some people there, you've seen videos to how to build. You could go out there and build a droid, so you could have this whole experience about building your own R2 or BB unit. You could also build your own lightsaber as well, and choose which side you want. Whether I think I would get purple because that's Mace's lightsaber. So I would like to do that one day. So hopefully I'll be able to go and build my own lightsaber, and I'm going to choose purple, of course. because I was the first Mace. So we had to get in the mix with all this, and we have a very special guest. Our colleagues from a show called Skywalking Through Neverland, Richard and Sarah Roloski, joined us, and this was pre-recorded, but we're going to go ahead and play it. But here is their special report that they're going to give us on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This week on AllForSciFi, we have a very special report, a report on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Our good friends at Skywalking Through Neverland, Richard and Sarah, just happened to be there on opening day, and they've included us, and they're going to share with you a very special report. So welcome to the show. Hey, Richard and Sarah.
Hey, Eric. Thanks for having us on your show.
Yeah.
The circle is now complete.
Yes, it is. So tell us, you were there on opening day. What was it like? Was it really crowded? Just give us a special report.
All right, well, that is the funny thing, because May 31st has been this date that everyone has been looking forward to or dreading, depending on who you are and what kind of Disney fandom you have. So on May 31st, we had gotten our 8 p.m. to midnight reservations, and we were kind of dreading, going to the park and parking. We weren't sure, would the parking garage be open? And, well, it turns out that we just breezed right through, because it seems that everyone who did not have a Galaxy's Edge reservation for that day were scared away.
It almost seemed like we were there on the wrong day.
Yeah.
Where's the crowds?
But immediately when you got there, it was Star Wars fans who were there. People had their Star Wars shirts, their Star Wars swag. We went on Star Tours, and everyone cheered when it ended up in Batuu, and it was really fun. It was like camaraderie day at Disneyland.
So was it like when you go to the Star Wars premieres, or was it more special?
Well, after we had gotten our wristbands, they had brought everyone over to the Galaxy's Edge area, and there was no official line, but there was a big mass of people. Mm-hmm. But we were all there waiting for Galaxy's Edge, but we weren't allowed to get in line. But of course, you always get all these unofficial lines.
Right. It's like the line for the official line.
Yeah, so it did have one of these film premiere vibes to it.
Yes.
Because you could feel the energy, you could feel the excitement. Something special was going to happen that we've been waiting years and years for, and now it was finally happening, and everyone was looking at their watches, clocking it down to 8 o'clock.
And every time that the CMs would bring us just a little bit further into the land because our line was getting too long and spilling into Critter Country, then we'd all put up our phones and be like, woo! Every time we walked 2 steps.
Yeah. So those cast members, the CMs, they did a fantastic job in keeping everyone in line, at the same time entertaining us, because we would all talk to them, and they're not Disney cast members at this point. They're citizens of Batuu.
Yes.
So if you happen to be wearing a shirt that says Star Wars, they could say, what is that? What is Star Wars? Because if you're a citizen of Batuu, you don't know what that is. If you have a picture of Darth Vader on your shirt as well, they may not know who that is. They maybe had heard of this tyrannical figure Darth Vader in the past, because this timeline of Galaxy's Edge is set between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if what time period it was set in. Also, when you're standing in line, the unofficial line, did you have your conversations? Did you, as fellow Star Wars fans in line with you, I can only imagine what your conversations would be like. Did you introduce yourself to each other, and did you hear any great stories? Because Star Wars fans have great Star Wars stories.
Okay. Well, actually, in this line, we were brought into the land fairly early before 8 o'clock, and at that point, you could interact with the land on your data pad, which is your phone turned into your data pad. And also, we ended up really interacting with the cast members, the citizens of Batuu, and a lot of them had animals. They had their pets with them. So, one of them was carrying a loth cat whose name was Amanda or something funny like that. I forget the name. And then another one had a Kowakian monkey lizard. So we were mostly having fun talking with them as they were like in universe. So we actually did not talk to the people around us. We talked to the Batu citizens.
Yeah, the people all around us, they just wanted to talk about Ewok Adventure. And guys, that's great and all, but listen to the podcast and we'll give you Eric's private phone number. But right now, let's just get into Galaxy's Edge. Oh, don't do that?
Yeah, no, don't do that, Richard. No wonder why my phone was ringing off the hook from all these restricted numbers.
Yeah, I apologize for that. But then 8 o'clock hit, and we had our A-list agenda, our B-list, our C-list, our D-list agenda. But as soon as you get into the land, your head just goes boom.
Yeah.
And all your agendas go out the window.
Yeah.
Because you've been looking at this concept art, you've been looking at these videos up until now about the making of Galaxy's Edge and how it's been completed, and here's the marketplace and the Millennium Falcon, and so you see all this stuff and you just find a corner and start blubbering. Because this is what you've been looking forward to for so long, and we just did not want to follow any agenda. We just wanted to take it all in one step at a time.
Yeah, plus we had that 8 p.m. slot, which means the sun had gone down at that point, and it was starting to get dark, but it was magic hour. So at that point, we wanted to just explore as the sun, as this magic hour was happening. And it ended up being, Richard, didn't we turn the corner and see the Millennium Falcon as like this? Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous because you have that sunset light and the Falcon is right there in this courtyard, and it's overwhelming.
You turn the corner and you see the cockpit sticking out, and you go a little further and you see the whole ship sitting right there waiting for you.
Right above you because it's so gigantic.
Yeah, and with the sun going down, it was the perfect lighting. But we knew we had to get around as quickly as possible because once it got dark, it's pretty dark over there.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like brightly lit like Main Street. They want to keep the atmospheric lighting, so it gets a little dark, so you might miss some things. So luckily, we've been a couple of times, one at night and one in the daytime, so we wouldn't have missed anything that first time around, because the second time was during the daytime, and we noticed all this structural design that we had not seen that first time around.
Yeah, there's some just to go in and just take in each setting, like everywhere you turn is a picture. It's an Instagram photo.
Yeah, and just walking out, Eric, you've been in the Star Wars universe twice in the films, but this was our first time walking into a Star Wars universe. And that's exactly what it was, walking into the movie. And it didn't feel like a park. It just felt like you're walking into this land, this universe that's no longer fictionalized anymore because it's right there in front of you.
Yeah, for sure. I know when I was doing the Ewok movies, when you get in that Mace costume and I stepped out of the wardrobe trailer and onto the forest moon of Endor, you really felt with that costume and everything, you really felt like you were in a different world. So I can imagine what that experience would be like, and it's great that everybody gets to experience that now. And I know they only give you like a certain time frame, like you mentioned you had a reservation of 4 hours or something like that. I was kind of worried about it, but did you think 4 hours was enough to see everything? Or?
Well, no, actually. We missed the first time, we missed the cantina. But we were really concerned with like getting some video and stuff for our listeners as well. Some video and some...
When we came back from Celebration Chicago, we posted a lot of Galaxy's Edge videos on merchandise and the making of Galaxy's Edge. So we had a lot of listeners and viewers on YouTube that wanted to see more footage of the merchandise on the shelves and the prices. So we really spent a lot of time making videos in the creature shops and all the boutiques and Den of Antiquities. So we spent a lot of time just making sure we got all footage to show the viewers what merchandise piece does what lights up, what makes noises.
I did see some of those videos, and I just wanted to point out, sorry for interrupting you, Richard, everybody needs to go and look at those videos. They're great. So go to, on YouTube, Skywalking Through Neverland is their YouTube channel. the videos are great. Not only narrated, but it's with personality, and it was really interesting, like looking at all those different robes and the belts. I was watching some of the videos earlier before we got on this podcast, and the excitement you guys had was just awesome. So.
Oh, well, it is exciting. I mean, you get to the creature stall, and there's all these creatures, and they have noises, and they're moving around, and their little tails move, or their mouths move, and you're like, oh, each little thing is just so exciting. In fact, we're working on that video right now, editing it. That'll be up today as well, the creature stall video.
And then Sarah adopted a Lothcat.
I did.
Lothcats are the little cats you've seen in Star Wars Rebels, and they're so cute, and they purr.
They are, yes.
That's all Sarah's been talking about for months. I want to adopt a Lothcat, and she has one. And it's been going to the bathroom all over the house, too.
Now, you know, you're funny. Back to the adventures at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, let's talk about Smuggler's Run and what that adventure was like.
Okay, well, actually, you do absolutely have time to ride the Smuggler's Run, which is kind of the e-ticket attraction open right now in Galaxy's Edge, and there will be another ride called Rise of the Resistance, which is supposed to be amazing. There's no scheduled opening date for that yet. Rumors are August or November. We're not sure.
Or sometime this year.
Yeah.
The line, we went on it twice, and each line was
Smuggler's
Run was only 35 to 45 minutes long, which is for Disneyland. I'll do that on my head. And then it ended up only being like maybe 20 to 25 minutes per wait.
Right. So it's about 10 minutes shorter than what the posted time is. And the trick with that is don't go on Smuggler's Run right away when you get into the land, because that's when the line gets really long. Wait until the middle of your reservation when many people have already gone on it, and then you can go pretty quick. But it's fun. I mean, the major cool thing about this ride is that the queue is you're going behind the Millennium Falcon, and then you walk up some stairs, and then all of a sudden you're looking through glass and you're seeing the top of the Millennium Falcon, and then you're walking through and you see Hondo Ohnaka from Star Wars Rebels, and it's like an amazing animatronic, and then all of a sudden you're walking and you're inside the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, just take a couple of seconds to absorb that as you're walking in, because that's the part that just melts me every single time, because the set decorating, everything is like the Millennium Falcon. They did not skimp on any details whatsoever. Everything is where it should be. And that's the part that really excites you, because there's not any moment where it's like, I can see a fire exit over there, and I can see where the walls don't really meet up. But no, this is perfect.
It's immersive.
Yeah, it's the cargo hold you see in the Star Wars films where Luke was practicing with a remote, where Chewbacca and 3PO and R2 were playing chess, where Han is hitting the computer, and where Han and Leia had their first kiss.
Speaking of kissing, I understand that you kept a promise.
Yeah, there's one corridor that is the backdrop for the Empire Strikes Back kiss that Han and Leia have, and unless you're led down the correct hallway, you don't see that part. Well, we were led down that hallway, and we were like, we told the Batuian to hold on, because we need a kiss right here.
We're getting this picture.
Yeah.
So,
I just remembered what I was going to say earlier. I was going to ask you to bring up any Easter eggs that are placed in the park. Because I've heard a lot about those. I've even heard there's a lot of Indiana Jones Easter eggs as well. So.
There's the Ark of the Covenant is in the shop called Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. And up above on this raised platform, there's a ton of Easter eggs and props and stuff that Doc Ondar, who is a collector, he collects anything and everything of value. He collects just the most rarest of historical artifacts. Like there'll be an original Stormtrooper helmet up there, a Biker Scout, X-Wing pilot helmets, and there's the Ark of the Covenant. If you look really, really carefully, you'll see it.
I haven't even seen that yet.
Oh. Also, the one thing I really, really, really was hoping for, but I wasn't really sure. I wanted to see a Star Wars Holiday Special artifact somewhere hidden in there, and you walk in, and it's right there, not even hidden at all. But there's Boba Fett's rifle from the Star Wars Holiday Special. But you can also say it's from the upcoming TV series The Mandalorian. However, it originated in the Holiday Special, so I'm considering that the Holiday Special Easter egg.
Yes, it is. I agree.
Now, there were a couple of things I was hoping were Ewok Adventure Easter eggs. Ooh. Like, there was a wooden rocking horse in the Toydarian Toy Maker. It's like, wait a minute, did I see that in Wicket's hut? Because I know Wicket had a bunch of toys. He and his brothers had a bunch of toys on the ground. And
Star Cruiser, Crash.
Yeah, yeah, and they had a little horse that Sindel was playing with. And there was a rocking horse. Like, oh, is that from the Ewok Adventure? But I tweeted out to Matt Martin from the Lucasfilm Story Group, and he said, yeah, it's a father from The Last Jedi.
Yeah, they wouldn't admit it anyway. I mean, even in the Ewok movie, there was parts like from the Ewok Adventure, Caravan of Courage, there was a scene where they took stuff from Empire Strikes Back. Do you remember when they were stuck in the cave? And then they realized they weren't in a cave; they were in that creature on Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah, the space slug.
Right. Well, that's in Caravan of Courage. It's the tree monster. So when Mace sticks his hand in a tree, it's the same one. They just reused it. So.
Oh wow.
Huh. Yeah, you know what? I never knew that. And funny, I was just watching that scene last night because I'm putting together something for the Ewok Adventure. And I'm looking at that going, wow, that's a cool creature, but I never associated that with the space slug. Nice.
It probably was. It might have been in where that person said, but it might have also been part of the Ewok Adventure and they didn't know. Maybe he doesn't know.
Right.
Very true.
So they also had, in Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, they had a Naboo soldier outfit that was taken from Attack of the Clones, so it's an actual screen-used outfit. There's an IG droid sitting up in this raised balcony, and you know him from the IG-88 we see in The Empire Strikes Back. Well, this is an IG droid, and he's sitting in a chair, and his blaster pockmarked behind him, so it's as if he was standing guard of all of these antiquities, and someone took a couple of pot shots at him and took off with a couple of items.
I bet that turns up in the comics.
I hope it does. There's a story right there. Everything here just tells a story. And the whole shop is run by Doc Ondar, who's an Ithorian creature. And the vintage fans may know him better as Hammerhead in Star Wars. And he's behind this cage, and he's in there. He's working. He's making deals, and he's an animatronic. And you would think there's someone right there in a costume. Just the way he moves, and
his eyes.
His eyes blink, and I do believe if you get close enough to the cage, there's a little sensor that goes off, and he'll look up at you. Because a couple of times I did get very close, and I'm trying to, because in the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout ride, there are some little creatures that are...
They're like animatronic, but they respond to you.
To movement.
It's like a new animatronics.
Yeah, they probably have sensors,
So I figured maybe the Doc Ondar had something like that, and I was told that he doesn't like creatures, so if you hold up a creature to him, he gets kind of scared.
Yeah, so we took my Lothcat in there, and he didn't really do anything though. So I mean, he stood up at one point, but he didn't look scared or anything like that.
Yeah. So if you go into, when you go into Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, you got to go look for him because you can just look at him for hours and hours, and just the little tiny movements they give to the bladders on his mouth, and the blinks, and the way he moves his head. You can see breath going on in his head. You can see little things, they look like bladders inside moving up and down, and that just gives him life. He's not just a solid hunk of animatronic. He's a living and breathing creature, and you'd really believe that.
They've gotten so advanced with all those creatures. Even the one that plays for the mission.
Hondo?
Yeah, Hondo. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I saw he's animatronic too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But once again, you wouldn't know it.
No.
Yeah, just the little movements he does.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys had just a marvelous time, and I'm sure everybody can't wait to go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. I'm sure you guys are going to go back many, many times. And we appreciate having Richard and Sarah come in on our show on All4Sci-Fi and doing a special report. Thank you so much, Richard and Sarah, for coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, and always remember...
Neverland on Alderaan. And if you do, well, then go over there to skywalkingthrough-neverland.com and pay us a visit.
Yes, everybody go to skywalkingthrough-neverland.com, and there you could listen to Richard and Sarah's podcast. They're also on YouTube. They have these great videos. Go there to watch them as well. And thank you guys so much for being on the show. Yeah, everybody go check it out. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland.
May the Force be with you, and enjoy Batuu. Till the Spire.
Till the Spire!
And we want to thank Sarah and Richard for coming on the show and giving us a special report. That was for all you Facebook fans out there, and it's also going to be on the show tomorrow when it airs on our regular podcast show. And we're coming back to Facebook Live, and Captain Rickster was falling asleep.
Oh, yes.
I hope Richard and Sarah wasn't watching that when you were falling asleep. Although,
at least I wasn't snoring.
There you go, yeah. We didn't hear you snore, which is good.
That's a good thing, yes.
So before that, we were talking about Dark Phoenix and how great, what a great movie this is.
Oh, yes, really, really great.
I've said it many times, but I'll say it again. It's one of the better X-Men movies that have ever been made. I want to say I can't say it's better than the original, but to me, it's second best.
Yeah, I would say second best too myself.
And Dark Phoenix, you definitely need to go see it. It is 4.5 stars out of 5.
Yes.
So coming up on a horizon, next week's episode, we're going to be watching and reviewing which movie? Do you remember?
Not right after that, I can't. Sorry.
And the reason why you don't remember is because they took one of those things and zapped you.
Oh, that's definitely true. I got zapped by one of them.
And what movie has that in it?
Oh, that would have to be... Men in Black International.
There you go. You got it. Men in Black International. So next week's show, we're going to talk about Men in Black International.
Oh, yes.
I guess you forgot, Captain Rickster, because they zapped you.
Yeah, they did.
Further in the future, we have just a lot of stuff. And I say this every single week. This is a great year for sci-fi movies.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
There is so much stuff coming out. Earlier we talked about the new trailer for Ad Astra came out with Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones. We have the other Marvel movie.
Spider-Man. Far Away from Home. He's coming out in July.
And that looks great. The new Spider-Man movie looks great.
Yes,
and we have The Lion King, which this week, for some reason, they played The Lion King back-to-back twice.
On this one, yes.
I don't have any idea, some sort of goof up. They also started the movie like 8 minutes late or something like that.
Yeah. Just remember, this is the July would be the last movie for any Marvel coming out until next year.
Really?
Yes, this is the last one.
So, you heard that. Captain Rickster is announcing, and other people probably know this who are big Marvel fans, but this will be the last Marvel movie this year. And then later in the year, of course, we have the very anticipated movie coming out with J.J. Abrams taking the final bow with Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
A lot of speculation going on what that movie's about. Who is the rise? Is Luke Skywalker going to rise again? Some other theories out there that I've heard of is about just Skywalker becoming the new, like, instead of calling them Jedi, they call them Skywalkers.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
So I could see it going that way, but there's always going to be a million speculations going on. Or we may find out that Rey was a Skywalker.
That's true.
So there's
also
all this up and down, so many hits and misses. Well, I guess we'll find out in December.
Yes. Remember also, if any DC fans out there, you got the Joker coming out too this coming year also.
The Joker's coming out with Joaquin Phoenix, River Phoenix's younger brother. I was friends with River Phoenix when we were kids. That was sad what happened to him.
No kidding.
Yeah. But that was many moons ago. I look forward. I like Joaquin Phoenix's acting, and so I look forward to seeing this, but I think we've seen too many Joker movies.
I think so too, yeah.
But then again, I said we've seen too many X-Men movies, and here we are talking about Dark Phoenix, and I love it.
remember also that since Disney owns Marvel,
right
now, and they also own Fox, they also got back the X-Men and also the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Come back to the house now. Understanding, it might be still rumors, not they're supposed to be making new X-Men and also new Fantastic Four coming out in the next 2-3 years.
Well, if they keep making the X-Men like this last one, I'm down. I'm down for it
too, yeah.
Fantastic Four, I'm down for anything because the last couple Fantastic Four movies were terrible.
Really terrible, yeah. And they need to do something really to up the ante on Fantastic Four.
That's for sure. Captain Rickster is wearing the shirt. They came in today. Stand up, Captain Rickster. Go to your there you go. Look at it. The shirts have come in. Ewoks. The Ewoks shirt. This is only available through my website at ericwalker.net or ericwalkermusic.com. And if you see the Ewoks, one of them's holding a machine gun, another one has a bomb. They're about ready to drop. Another one's about ready to blow up with another bomb. Another one has the old ninja sword. I said it right, by the way. You're supposed to say sword, not sword.
Right.
And up here in a corner it says, "Damn right we're cute." You know it. The Ewoks are cute and ferocious. They destroyed the Empire.
They helped. They didn't destroy it. They helped destroy the Empire.
They helped destroy the Empire, and then they ate a bunch of 501st Legion. No, I'm just joking.
They were hungry.
I hear they taste like chicken. No.
A little snack.
No, but I always wanted to be a stormtrooper, so.
Well, you missed out. But you were the original mate. That was the best part.
Yeah, there was a lot going on Jedi, though. When we were making Caravan of Courage, the stories I heard about what happened on Blue Harvest, which was the name of the movie.
Right.
What they called the Blue Harvest, and nobody knew they were doing Return of the Jedi. But the stories I heard about the Saturday night parties on Jedi.
Whoa, they were good.
Whoa. So I know Debbie Lee Carrington dated a stormtrooper from the set. So.
Oh, cool.
And she was cool. She was I'm so sorry she died this year, but she was a cool little person. All the little people are cool, man. They're like so hip and so full of life and so full of energy.
Oh, no kidding.
What else? Okay, so the shirts have come in. They're available. I've only done a limited run. I'm not gonna get into the shirt business. So if you want a shirt, go get them. There's still some available, but half of them are already gone. So you better hurry up. Oh, if anybody would like to make any comments, you can make them in the videos that you see posted here, or you could go to our website, AllForSciFi.com, where you could replay these podcasts and you can make comments, you can make suggestions, and any feedback is always appreciated.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yes, great. Thank you for everybody.
You guys have a great week coming up. Stay safe, and God bless. All the music on today's episode was composed and written by Eric Walker. To learn more about Eric's music, please visit ericwalkermusic.com.